y'all making these videos, some of y'all turning your flags upside down and you're saying nah, but nah, that's what you get, farmers. I'm not. And then I heard some of you farmers are actually setting other black farmers farms on fires because you jealous of black farmers because they had to get theirs out the mud, but you need some workers on your. I just find it funny. Who y'all thought was gonna come and work on them farms? Now, come on now. Who y'all thought was gonna come and get those jobs? This is what y'all wanted because y'all wanted to vote for Trump blindly for absolutely no reason. And guess what? This is what you get. So now a lot of y'all businesses are going out of business. You farmers are crying. You're mad. And guess what? I find it very beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing that you guys are getting finessed. It is hilarious to me. It is hilarious to me.
It seems crazy to me. I just seen a scale that they put out talking about how much money each demographic makes, which to me is crazy that you even release those numbers. But nevertheless, I just don't understand. This is why the farmers is messed up now, because they see that and they see African Americans at the bottom making $35,000 a year, and they don't know we've been out here grinding and taking care of ourselves this whole time. Because I get mad stuff for free. Like I don't know anybody who makes $35,000 like on paper who lives at $35,000. Like they still get their hair done, get their nails done, get everything done because and you like how you getting that done? They talk about people like, oh, she goes to get EBT but she got her nails done and she do it because you know that my man down the street he flips cars and he gonna let me drive this one as long as I watch his son. Do you know that my girl she does my hair for free as long as I hook her up every now and then and come through with the fish plates? Like we've been on that. We got a whole circuit of people. That's how we move. That's how we live. I wouldn't go by that. That's why these farmers is messed up because they thought they was gonna get the Latinos out of the country and then black people was gonna take over. Dear America, stop blaming black people. We are not the issue. I want you to hear me loud and clear on this. We will no longer allow you to put the blame on us. We will no longer be your scapegoat because you are scared to take accountability. Because you are scared to look in the mirror. Because you are scared to self-reflect. Because you are scared to self-analyze. As you should be because of all the crimes and tragedies that you have committed to people of all colors and creeds. For decades, for centuries. And instead of taking accountability, you want to blame black people, and we will no longer allow it. We're not falling for your trickery. We're no longer falling for the illusion. The spells, they're not working anymore. We put the glasses on, we can see everything, we lifted the veil. We are not the issue. Black people are not the issue. You are, America. Accept your accountability. I am Alfonso J. Jones, and I approve this message.
When it comes to the white farmers who are losing all of their workers and are about to lose their farms, I say that's the way it was always meant to be. You were never meant to employ all of these people for little to nothing / nothing when it comes to your ancestors and be able to make a profit off of it. It was never meant to be the cool rad thing that your family does for generations to make money. It was never honest work. It was never honorable. It was always tainted. It always involved holding people against their will to squeeze every single dime you could out of them, whether by force or by threat. It was always about that. And it was never right for this country to make that their foundation and their road to wealth. And so now that it's crumbling, we are returning to the original form of what things should have been. So there you go. I get that they work hard and some of these farms have been passed down from generation to generation. Well, for generation after generation, we've had all of the stuff that you have piled onto us passed down each and every time. I don't want anyone to suffer out here. I don't want anyone to be on the streets or lose their possessions or anything. And I don't want anyone to be exploited for their work either. I don't want anyone building off of the backs of people they deem less than human. So if you're already doing that and you lose the things that you've gained, if you're finally reaping what you sow, so be it.
Let me get this straight. The descendants of the enslaved peoples of this land to forget about the enslavement period and all the things that occurred after. But you got white farmers in groups complaining that black people aren't returning
bullshit is.
Them farmers really thought we was going back to them fields. They really thought we was going back to them fields. You know what? My mother was the first generation on her mother's side not to be brought up on a plantation. Not to be brought up on a plantation. That's what I said. My grandfather had a third grade education, but he left my mama 2 houses, property in the bank, property and money in the bank, with a third grade education. And guess what? He worked in fields. My great grandmother worked in fields. They cut that cane just like a man. You hear me? And if you think that Eddie Lewis and Victoria C. Jones and all the rest of my ancestors bust their tail in them fields for us to go back to the fields, absolutely not. That's not progress. We're trying to heal from ancestral trauma. We're trying to heal from that. That ain't happening. That produce could rot in them fields before we go back to them fields. They need to let them know that.
That's fine. We're just gonna burn the fucking crops. Fuck it. Let everybody starve.
Gary Spencer turned to unemployed Americans, says after 2 weeks, most couldn't cope.
The farmer says, start over here and end over here. And that was the extent of their instructions. With the American workers, they all had to be taught all this and separate. And in addition to the fact that their bodies just were not built for it.
For you.
They say karma is a bitch. So right now in America, farmers are literally crying because they are losing their farms. In fact, in this video, you're seeing one of the farmers among the many has decided, you know what, to burn down his farm because literally his business is destroyed completely as a result of these policies that are happening. Right now in America, if for those who don't know, is the undocumented immigrants are literally being deported back to their original home country. So who used to work in those farms? They are the undocumented immigrants. Those are the people who used to work in those farms. So right now, those undocumented migrants don't want to go to those farms. They are hiding, and the farmers, they don't have workers. And if you don't have a worker in your farm, then those produce are going to rot. And if they rot, you as a farmer, you're going to incur losses. As a result, in the long run, your farm is going to incur losses. In the long run, you'll not be able to pay back your mortgage for the farm. You'll not be able to pay your bills, and yeah, before you know it, and especially if you live in America, you become homeless. You're going to lose your property because the bank will come to close down your whole farm. They take over. That's what happens if you're unable to pay your mortgages on time, especially if you have a mortgage, for those who have mortgages. And of course, we all know Americans, as usual, we operate mostly on paycheck to paycheck. And of course, as a result of, the system, it's good to have a mortgage because also you end up, earning some points, benefits out of it. So Maga's farmers, or should I say just farmers in America right now, they're suffering because if you look at China right now, they have looked for alternative markets. Right now, China, who used to be the biggest market for Americans farmers, they have turned their back on America, especially when this fight of back and forth on America versus China's tariff war between the current president and of course with Chinese. So China turned their back on American goods. So they started looking for alternative markets. They stopped buying meat. They stopped buying soybeans from America, and they look for alternative markets somewhere else. So American farmers right now, they are suffering a lot. And then subsidies also was cut off by this current administration. So farmers are not literally getting subsidies from the government. So they don't have workers. They don't have any subsidies. They don't have market where they can sell their produce because China, their biggest market consumer, has turned their back against America. They're not buying from American. So what will the farmers do? So right now, farmers are crying, they're suffering, and they thought for the longest time, if these undocumented immigrants, they are taken back to their original home, in their mind, they knew, as America, according to the statistics. The medium rate Black American family is around $35,000, and they knew, of course, the people who are going to replace the immigrants are, of course, the Black Americans. But the Black Americans are telling the farmers that, you know what, we are good. We are literally thriving, even though we are earning around $35,000 as a family. According in America, those are the ones, the minimum. And they're wondering how. But if you look at the videos and if you look at the Black Americans, they'll tell you since history times, during the slave time up to now, they have learned to live below their living expenses. They have learned to save. They have learned to live with little. They have learned, to save. They have learned to come up with alternatives way they can, survive with little. So for a longest time, people don't get that part. But for the longest time, the media has portrayed the Black community, the Black Americans, as the people who literally benefit from the government, especially when it comes to this collecting stamps and all this stuff, the welfare thing. But actually, the Black Americans are saying right now, you know what? It's only the media who are saying that, but in reality, if you look at Americans' family, the Black Americans' family, we have been born and bred to know that we have to live with little so that we can save for the rainy day. And this is the rainy day for the Black communities. That's the reason why they are not rushing to go back to work in those farms. They're like, we are not going back to the slavery time. No, that time has passed. Right now we are doing better. We are managing with little we have. We know how to save. We know how to look for alternatives way we can earn money, and the extra, and of course within the community, how they're helping each other one or another. And that's why they are thriving. That's why they're surviving. So people asking that question, how are the Black Americans surviving? How come they're not taking these farm jobs? But the Black Americans are saying, you know what? If you look at the wage that you're being given, even if you decide to go work in those farms, is below the minimum wage. How are you going to survive? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to take care of your family? That's what they're asking. So you voted, now the white farmers, the farmers in America, literally they voted against their best interest at heart. So people are asking, you knew very well that when the current administration campaign, they say they're going to do away with undocumented immigrants. So your farmers in those farms or most of them, actually majority of them, are undocumented. So when they were taken back to their original home, who did you think was going to work in those farms? And they're like, oh, we thought the Blacks will take over, the Black community, we're going to replace them. And the Blacks are like, oh no, we're not available. So what's happening? There's a gap. Who's going to help them? Who's going to help the farmers in America? No one. So farmers right now, they're trying to come up with ways, but they're suffering. They're losing their farms. They are incurring losses, and they're like wishing and regretting why they voted the way they did. So the die has already been cast. That's why you're being told, when you're voting, please do your research. Vote for people who have your best interest at heart. So karma is a bitch. This is what they call far for season. You voted and now you're crying, so you have to pay the price. These are the consequences, because for every action you do, there's an equal reaction to it. Let me know what you think about this video, and of course let me know what you think about the farmers when they say, oh, they were thinking about Black Americans to take over these farms, but now they're wondering why they're not working those farms, because the Latinos are no longer working those farms. So let me know what you think about this video and drop your comments. Please subscribe to my channel.